Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from any part of the world where you may be joining us from. You are welcome to L Educate. L Educate is a platform where we develop the capacity of communities to respond appropriately to emergencies, especially health-related emergencies, to respond in a way that would help the victim and not harm the people we are trying to help. I welcome you. In this lesson of how not to do first aid, we will be looking at the importance of scene safety. Scene safety. I would want us to look at this video. We shall discuss our observations in the video later. Yes, that particular video represents the story of our collective lives as a community when emergencies happen, especially when individuals slump or faint or lose consciousness. We rush to the scene, we grab the person, pull the person, push the person without actually helping the person. Now that is why it is very important that you stay and stick with this course until the very end, because in this course we are going to be learning how to appropriately and properly help that person who just slumped, and not be like these people who rushed to help but are not really helping. Now let us look at this second video. In that video, you would observe that unlike the first guy who rushed to help this person who just collapsed, this person paused to review the situation in the surrounding. However, after reviewing the situation in the surrounding, he didn't know what to do, just like the first set of people. So, and this is exactly what will happen if you abandon this course halfway and not following up through to the end. You will know parts and not know the end. This guy knows that he's supposed to assess the safety of the situation before approaching the victim, but does not know what to do. How do you assess a scene for safety? The first thing you should know is that you have to check for dangers in the environment. If that lady has been hit by a bullet and you can still hear the sounds of bullets, then that is not the time to rush in to help that lady. You need to look left for danger, look right for approaching dangers, and if there are any, run and avoid it. You need to look up because the danger might be a falling object. You need to look around you properly to ensure that danger is not approaching. And more importantly, you need to look around the victim, Peradventure, it is possible that that girl has been bitten by a snake, and the snake is just hiding around the body of the victim. And now, if you rush to help, you get bitten by that same snake and you become the second victim. And in that instance, you will not be able to help, and you would have become a casualty yourself. So only approach a victim if you are sure that the scene is safe, both for the victim and for yourself. This is very important. In both videos, you would notice that the helper, rush to the victim and grab the arm, grab the head, grab the neck, grab every part of the body, shaking and shoving, because they are as confused as the person who is unconscious, right? And they are not helping. So you do not, by any means, move that person unless you want to move the person to safety so as to start first aid or CPR. Do not move. And if you must move, there are appropriate ways to move victims or casualties. We shall be talking about that later in the course. And it is also important that you learn how to shout for help if you are alone. First aid is not something you can do by yourself. You need to call for help. And in doing this, you must shout and scream because every minute matters. Lastly, or second to the last, you have to be aware that an apparently safe scene can become unsafe if you are helping somebody out of a collapsed building, right? It is possible that another part of that building may cave in, so you need to be aware and always ensure. Yeah, after having assessed the environment, you also want to assess yourself in relation to what you want to do to help this victim, right? You need to observe what we call standard precaution. And what does it mean to observe standard precaution? Wear a glove. Wear a glove if you have one. And it is important that you always keep one with you in case there are situations where you need to step out and help individuals or victims. Then, when you're approaching an emergency or an accident where blood is all over the place, you also want to protect your eyes because it is easy to contract blood infections through the eye, through the mouth, right? So you want to protect your eyes and keep your mouth shut, or even cover your mouth with a face mask if you're approaching a situation where there is possibility of contamination with blood, right? And you should know how to properly remove your gloves when they are stained with blood or any other body fluid. In the next slide, we will be looking at how to properly remove a stained glove. And of course, after having helped out, you want to wash your hand thoroughly for minimum 20 seconds, with soap and water after every first aid intervention. If soap and water is not available, you can always use your alcoholic or alcohol hand glove.
Hey everyone, it's Sarah with RegisteredNurseRN.com, and in this video I want to show you how to properly remove soiled gloves. So our goal is to remove our gloves without getting the stuff that's on our gloves on our skin or on our scrubs. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our thumb and our index finger and we're going to pinch the cuff of one of the gloves. Then we're going to take the glove and peel it off. And we're going to grasp the glove completely in our hand and close our hand tight. Prevent it from hanging down because we don't want to touch it. Then we're going to take our index finger of our ungloved hand and we're going to slide it underneath the cuff of the glove. And we're just going to peel it off, and it puts it in a nice little bunch, and then we're going to throw it away and wash our hands. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for
Beautiful. Now, our first assignment, pardon me, please. Our first assignment will be to make a 30 seconds video on how to properly remove stained gloves. 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Just make a video recording of yourself, of how to properly remove stained glove as had been shown from the video we just saw. Now, how do you recognize emergency situations? Firstly, when somebody stops responding, either to touch or to voice. You shake, you call, and the person is not responding. You need to act very fast. An individual is gripping his or her chest in pains. He's sweating, right? It could be a sign of possible heart attack. You need to act and act fast. When there are obvious injuries, severe injuries, when there is severe bleeding, somebody is jerking, is convulsing, unconsciously. And lastly, you need to have a high index of suspicion. What do I mean by this? Your husband or your wife or your uncle, tells you that, oh, I am feeling very uncomfortable. I think I need to use the bathroom. And he goes out of your sight into the bathroom. First minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, he has not come out. Please go and check out on that person and find out if the person is okay. There has been situations where somebody excuses himself to go to the bathroom because he's not feeling good, and the person collapsed. Apparently the person goes into cardiac arrest, collapsed in the bathroom, and actually died because it was after like 10-15 minutes before the person went in to check on that individual, and they found the person has been already dead. So we need to have high index of suspicion, especially for those of us who are living with our elderly parents or elderly. There is a quiz that I will need you to respond to. Firstly, this person's clothes has caught fire. How would or what would you do to help him? Apparently, you can see that the guy is panicking and is running for dear life. What would you do to help? This is self-explanatory. We can see hand, we can't see body. The body is underwater. This person apparently is drowning. You are the first to the scene. What will you do to help? This is a multiple car accident, and you are the first on the scene. What would you do